Okay, hi. So I decided that we're gonna start also talking about something, and I kind of always think this in the back of my head is I see certain people do certain things, and when I see that, I always think to myself, I was not raised that way. Or what I would say is, that is not the way my parents raised me. I always look at it from this way is when you do something because people are watching you, you're acting, you're you're showing people your fakeness, your facade, as they say. But when you do that in public, or you do that around other people, you're not being genuine. You're not being yourself. You're just faking something you're not. Uh, True measure of a person is, the way I look at it is not what you do when people are looking at you, but what you do when people are not looking at you. Uh, I'm not entitled, but I'm also entitled at the same time. It's a balancing thing. Uh, I'm very, very lucky. I'm very fortunate, and I'm happy that I had the opportunity to have the quality of life that I do. I have less than some people. I have more than some people. So it's one of those things where you look at it on two sides of the coin. And I get that people who have never experienced hardship in their life, they look at hardship, what they classify as hardship, differently than others. So I'm gonna start this playlist or whatever you want, mainly discussing some of those things that I consider, well, you know what, I wasn't raised that way. So it's really hard for me to look at the world, that perspective, the way other people look at it. And mainly, this is a manners a conversation. So let's talk about it. When you look at how people choose to do things, and I'm gonna go with the parking garage or the parking lot dilemma. Um, I'm going to use me as an example. When people are driving around a parking lot, everybody knows it's like everywhere in the world. One person drives on the right side and the opposite direction drives on the left, or vice versa. So if it's a 2-lane road, one person drives one way, one person drives the other, and it's either you stay on the left side of the parking lot, or you stay on the right side of the parking lot. So that's when there's other traffic around. Now the question turns out to be is, how do you drive whenever nobody's watching? And that's the key thing is, so whenever there's no one in the parking lot, there's no other cars in the parking lot. I live in the United States, so I still drive on the right side of the lane and leave the left side open still. And what you do notice is, yes, most of the world will do what? They'll drive somewhat towards the center, in between both lanes. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a frustrating thing sometimes, because people get so used to driving in the middle lane, they get to the point where it's the psychology that makes them think that, hey, they should have the right to drive and have all this open space available to them. No courtesy whatsoever. They don't really think of anyone else in the mix or whatever it might be, and so be it. Me, on the other hand, I always look at it from this way. You just never know if somebody's going to turn into that lane, into that road, or that line or that parkway that you're in. So I've always driven, even when somebody is not there, present, looking at me, on the lane that I'm supposed to drive in, and always have courtesy for oncoming traffic. So that's how I do things. That's, to me, because I was raised with the thought of human courtesy, of what I consider manners that are understandable to me. So whenever I see people who do stuff like that or drive in the middle of the lane, I try to have faith that they're doing it because they're not the best drivers. They don't want to hit anyone. They just want to make sure there's plenty of room for other people to walk along the road or whatever it is. But once again, when you just do it in public, when other people are watching versus when you're doing it when nobody's watching, I'm just going to say it this way. I'm the person who will drive on the right side of the lane in a parking lot and not in the center of the lane, because that is the way I believe to be the most courteous, and I was raised with those kinds of manners. Is it the right kind of manner or the wrong? I don't know. I don't care. But ultimately, that is the way I was raised. Thank you.